he has a story, and I wonder if I can call it. I know you've told this story before, but just briefly, the story of the one where you were thinking about something that was going to happen, or that might happen, or creating it in your mind, and then it happened the next day in regard to a UFO.
Yeah. Okay. I was working at basically a factory and working shift work, and I was also seeing a lot of UFO activity in the probably around 1996 or 7 it would have been, and just laying in bed one night, just ready to go to sleep, I was just pondering the thought of, wonder if at work, I was at work talking to a guy, and this UFO, this orb, flew over at low altitude, just over the little creek that was going through the premises, and I put my consciousness in the little orb, and I'm looking down at me, looking up at it, and so I turned around and got a piece of aluminium and shone it like a mirror, as if I was trying to shine the mirror on the object, and then it flew away. And and the very next morning, I was at work, and just after smoko, I was preparing some equipment out in the open, and lo and behold, a silver orb at low altitude came over the building, which was only probably 50 meters from me when I first spotted it. And it flew directly over that small creek that I imagined the night before, at probably about a 30-foot altitude above the ground. It was very low. And I had a workmate that was just beside me. I said, "Hey, Tim, come and have a look at this." And he came over, and I said to him, "What do you think that is?" He said, "That's a UFO." Anyway, it was probably about 18 inches in diameter, this silver orb, and it had a corona of energy around it. And it was moving very, very slowly. And I had that replay of that moment when I was thinking about this the night before. So I was looking around for a piece of aluminium that I could have used as a mirror to reflect it, like I sort of imagined I could do if that happened. Anyway, we both watched it there, and it disappeared, went out of view just behind the edge of a building, and I moved forward a bit so I could see it for a bit longer, and then after it moved on a bit, it just gained altitude and shot off to the left, which would have been to the east. And that was a whole perfect replay of something that I ran through my mind as a possibility the very night before. So what's the connection? Was that, did it contact me and say, well, we heard your thoughts and here's the evidence and we're going to just play it out for you? Or what? I just can't figure that one out, but that's exactly what happened. So
your musings manifested the next day.
Exactly right. Just as I ran it through my mind, well, what's the chances of that happening? Absolutely impossible. In the broad daylight, and I had a witness there with me as well.
So that's another element of the UFO phenomenon.
Well, I was getting to the stage where I'd be inside, and I think, I wonder if there's any UFOs there. I'd go out the back door, and a UFO would fly over just above rooftop, and I'd go out the front door, and a UFO, a triangle or an orb would fly over just as I come outside. So, and I'm thinking, what are they up there waiting for me to walk out, or what's the connection? Like it was just happened so often, and the consciousness connection is something that a lot of people probably don't talk about it because they may not make a connection, or people might think they're a bit strange or not believe them. But it is a genuine phenomena that does happen, and I proved it time after time after time.
Interesting.
But there is a communication. I think that if you have close encounters, I think that the UFO can remember you, and they do. I think they must be able to transfer that. They could take a blueprint of your aura, and that's your identification. And I think they can transfer that knowledge to other UFOs in their group or whatever, because if you're out of the area, which I was once down in Port Macquarie, and in the daytime, and one of those orbs with a dangling appendage was flying away from me and quite high altitude, and I stepped out behind a tree to observe it. Anyway, it was almost if it recognized me and came back again and came around the other side of the tree as if to get a good look at me from behind the tree. And I got video of it, so it was no hallucination.
Yeah.
And it was almost like it remembered me, you know, like, and when I first moved to Glen Innes, the very first day there, the UFO, we were talking to the neighbour, and another one of those jellyfish type UFOs, I've called them, came across the road at low altitude, just at the back of the property of the house across the road. And once I spotted it, it stopped stationary. So I thought, God, that's one of them doing jellyfish UFOs. So I raced in and get my camera and come back out quickly, and it was nowhere to be seen. And I scanned the sky. I don't know where it went, but whatever it did, it moved pretty quick. So there's a consciousness connection you can create with them, you know?
Mm.
I think they can, because I got to the stage where I was able to make them aware that I was able to see them, and using a technique that I won't go into here, but they were buzzing me, small objects buzzing me, and not only small ones, large ones coming right over my head that would give me, you know, when you walk into a tunnel, you get that feeling of enclosure. They were that low that I got that feeling from it. There's a black object in the night sky, and that was too close for comfort, you know. And yeah, you can make a conscious connection with them, and they'll come and suss you out. Particularly if you're able to see them, I think they wonder, how come this bloke can see us and nobody else can, you know, type thing. But you just got to train your mind and your eyes and become and enlighten your awareness, so you expand your awareness so you can see these dark objects in the night sky.
Thanks, Barry.